done lots of podcasts with Black folks to talk about racism, particularly the tensions between Black and white women. And I am very wanting to get into the election and get people inspired to do work to, get us to the point where we need to be. And honestly, to a certain degree, I'm sort of nonpartisan. Like, I'm not saying Democrat, I'm saying left leaning, even Republicans who are never Trump Republicans. You're also welcome in this space. And I'm here to, give some resources. We're going to talk about Project 2025 and Agenda 47, the difference between those. And we've actually talked about possibly doing this multiple times. We had to do it in the middle of the day today because I know some of you were working to put that comment up and going forward, trying to do it in the evening. Yeah. But today just was this only time we could work it out. But all of them are going to be recorded, right, LeBron? And so he'll put them up and we'll share the links.
Yes. We're also on Facebook and YouTube. You can go to the Uncanny Takeover on YouTube, and if you want to watch it live there as well, and comment. Because I do have some stuff that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to share it as well, because I really positioned this showing and live for Miss Julie. But we are thinking about making a series out of this because it's a good bit before we get to election and whatnot. And
and there's lots of information to be shared.
Yeah.
So. And again, we're being super informal, so we're just here to share information, and we are committed. I feel like I'm talking for both of us, and I'm sure I am, that we're not out here to spread misinformation. We're out here to spread hate. The sources that I'm going to be talking about today are legitimate sources. I can show you them. You can go look them up yourself. So
and I got the whole 900-page PDF sitting right here in front of me.
Okay, so let's start with that. So there are two different documents or two different agendas or whatever you're going to say that are out there floating around a Trump presidency. One of them is Project 2025, which was created by the Heritage Foundation, which is an ultra-conservative evangelical Christian organization that has been around for a long time. And actually, we're around in Reagan years. And apparently, I've done some research, and apparently Reagan took their document at the time of his presidency and implemented like 60% of it. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people love Ron Reagan, but he was a shit show too. That's what there's a lot of things he did that did not benefit, that started some of the trajectories we've been on to not benefit people that are not the 1%. And then, so there's that document that is 900 pages long, as LaRon just said. And there also is some I will share actually a site where you can go and get a condensed version of it with the key points. And then there is Agenda 47, which is Trump's personal agenda for what he wants to do during his presidency. And there is some overlap between the two. But, I guess if you wanted to make the assumption that the things he wants to do, he's going to put first. So I'm just making that assumption.
Now, do you have, I actually went, if you go to his website, it has the audio and video version of the agenda.
Yeah. So, and just so everybody knows, because I was on Facebook the other day on a post of somebody, and some lady's like, Project 2025 is whatever. What's one of the words you use? It's all a sham. I'm like, lady, there's a whole damn website dedicated to it.
Yeah.
It's not a sham. You can Google Project 2025. I think it's project2025.org. And this has actually been around for several years, but now we're 4 months before the election and people decide they want to pay attention to it, which is good. At least we're paying attention to it. But yeah, and then like you said, LaRon, you can go to Trump's website and see this stuff. It's not like it's hidden. It's not like it's made up. It is out there for everyone to see on official websites of these organizations, of these.
The words are coming straight from out of his mouth.
Exactly.
So for those people that are saying, oh, he didn't say that. Yeah, this is not AI. This is him reading off a teleprompter. You can tell that he's reading off a teleprompter. So even if he didn't write it, he said it.
Exactly. If you say it, you own it. So, and here's coming off of that, I want to say something because I think this is incredibly important, is I think in general, I'm going to point the finger at myself too. You know, as Americans in general, we have been very apathetic about our right to vote for years. Your ancestors, my ancestors, black, white, women, fought for the right to vote for us. And we don't take advantage of that. Other countries can't even vote, or don't, and I think it's something like 50% on average of Americans don't vote. I mean, that's insane to me. Yeah. And I think I've talked about this a lot on my personal page about leading up to this election, that there is, I call it the missing middle, but there's a lot of folks out there that think there's nothing they can do to make a change, that think that their vote doesn't matter, so they're not even going to bother. They're not tuned into politics. They don't think they can make an informed decision. They're just too damn busy with life and their kids and their, whatever. And those are the people I feel like we need to reach. Like, we need to be reaching out to those folks and getting them to vote, because I think those are the folks that, like my mom, I took my 83-year-old mother to vote in 2022. She hadn't voted in probably 20 years. Yeah. I put her ass in the car and I drove her to early vote with me. Okay. And that may be what we have to do with some people. But now
people take advantage of the early voting.
Huh?
I don't think people take advantage of the early voting.
No, you need to take advantage of the early voting, because people go the day up and they get frustrated and they have to wait in long lines. But if your state early votes, do that. Tangent. But I think for too long we've sat here and go, oh, that's never going to happen. Oh, that's never going to happen. Oh, that won't happen. And it's all fucking happening, y'all. Excuse me. It's all happening right in front of our eyes. It is unfolding. And it pisses me off, honestly, that it's 8 years after Trump came on the scene and we're still having this discussion about how to get rid of him. It's like, why wasn't something done about this years ago? But yeah, he'll never win the election. I called him to win the election because people do not like the Clintons. And, he'll never win the election. Then he won. Oh, he'll never come back. Oh, he'll never do this. He'll never do that. And it's just like, every time we say never, that shit happens.
Yeah.
So stop saying never and make something happen to stop it from happening.
Someone made a statement about the reason why he wasn't successful to get that second round after the first one is because they were still learning the process.
Yes.
And so since he's been out, him and his constituents have been figuring out stuff and putting things together, and that is allowing him to put his foot back into the pot with no problem. And
so you just gave me an excellent segue into something I want to read. And this is a New York Times article that the interviewer was interviewing Steve Bannon, who I assume most of you know who he is, but he was like one of Trump's big strategy directors. He is in prison right now for a couple of months. But I did an excerpt from this article. It is a little long, but I'll try to read fast. But reading this, exactly what you just said. The interviewer says, I felt like I was talking to Leon Trotsky in the years before the Russian Revolution. He didn't seem concerned at all about old-fashioned conservatives, moderates, or classic liberals. What he told me now seems doubly terrifying given Joe Biden's performance at the first presidential debate. So then this goes into Bannon's quotes. He says, they don't understand the MAGA movement. I think he's talking about Republicans, Democrats, I'm sorry. As it gets momentum and builds, it's going to move much further right than President Trump. People will look fondly back at Donald Trump and ask, where's Donald Trump when we need him? They don't understand that in the first 100 days, it's going to be very different than in 2016. We already have 3,000 political appointees ready to go. There's going to be radical cuts on spending, mass deportations, implementation of Project 2025 with an immediate focus on immigration, and simultaneously the deconstruction of the administrative state. Think about what that momentum has done. This movement has done. It did three things that have never been done before with no money. And he's right, this has all been grassroots. It's removed a sitting speaker from the House. It's removed a minority leader who was the first time that they'd ever done that, Mitch McConnell. And then they removed the entire RNC and replaced him with Trump's relatives. And this is the last quote. And this one is really, we are not reasonable. We are unreasonable And we're never going to be reasonable until we get what we want to achieve. We're not looking to compromise. We're looking to win. But on the fundamental direction of the country, we are separate. We are two different worldviews, and those worldviews cannot be bridged. So he's point blank saying there's no room for compromise here. They have their agenda. They're going to do what they have to do to get their agenda in place. And they are ready, as you said, the day he steps into office, if that happens, to make it happen, to start on that path.
And he pretty much said that, it's gonna either I'll win or is going to be some stuff going on afterwards. And it's
Heritage Foundation. The guy who leads the Heritage Foundation said that. He said, if the liberals will let us do what we want to do, or the left, there won't be any. What did he say? There won't be any bloodshed or something. I forgot.
I was trying not to say it, but what you see?
Yeah. I mean, that's
it
is scary. And I mean, maybe civil war is definitely scary, but I don't know. These people seem to want it.
Like
these people who love
when that movie came out, that was the icing on the cake for me. It's like, you know what, this election is pretty much that, and they're just. You talking about segue? They segueing with the movie. They're already putting out stuff that's gonna. It's before you dive into the stuff that you're that you've created and whatnot. I just want to express how hypocritical all this stuff is, because. And regardless if Trump had anything to do with this 2025 project stuff, I picked one group of words, which was critical race theory. I haven't read the whole thing. I plan on reading the whole thing, but I don't know, some part of me, which I felt like it was God telling me to research this, but I typed in the search bar, critical race theory. It's 23 critical race theories in here. I haven't made it past 4. And it is, I'm just going to read this part. It says, the theory disrupts America's founding ideal of freedom and opportunity. So when critical race theory is used as part of school activities, such as mandatory affinity groups, teachers training programs in which educators are required to confess their privilege, or school assignments in which students must defend the false idea that America is systematically racist. The theory is actively disrupting the value that hold communities together, such as equality under the law of color blindness. What stuck out for me was confessing their privilege and the fact that you're making me feel bad because I'm having to stand up and say that, nah, America is not systematically racist. Is that the reason why we can't teach critical race theory in school? Because you don't want to confess your
white fragility. I mean, people don't want their kids to have to admit, their little white children to admit they might be influenced or have, by them. And because it's about the parents, ain't nothing about the children. Because children don't know. So, and let me just step aside and say, because I was thinking about this, that the large part of what is driving all this is racism, folks. And I know racism is a horrible word. Nobody wants to freaking say it. But between evangelical Christian, that those tenets and racism combine into this super power force of these white rich people, mostly, who want to maintain control. And not only do they want to maintain control, they want to roll back the control to make sure they maintain control, because they know their days are limited. And the younger folks that are tagging on to that are definitely racist, because they're just dumb. Because if you don't understand that, if you don't understand that the policies of that are that are going to be put out under. Trust me, I don't agree with everything the Democrats do. I don't. And there's even one or two things. There's even one or two things under Project 2025 I'm going to tell you that I agree with, which would be scandalous. But like one of the things is I don't think that if you're born in this country, you should automatically be a citizen. And when that was put into play, that was because we needed people in the country, right? And I'm not saying, but now you can, if you're both your parents are, here illegally, which I'm fine to give people the opportunity to become a citizen, and you're born, you're automatically a citizen. That I don't know if that happens in any other country in the world. If I'm born in France, if I'm in France and pregnant, my kid's born, they're not a French citizen. I don't think. I don't think that's true.
Well,
I don't know. I'd be curious to know that. I'm not going to say that I don't know. That I know that for sure, but I mean, because case in point, one of the tenets of Project 2025 is to do away with SNAP benefits or limit them significantly, and people think that SNAP benefits, are all about Black people, minorities. 41% of people on SNAP benefits are white.
White.
Almost half.
Yep.
And so, and Medicaid, they're going to gut all these social programs. And it's just, and then there's a lot, I don't know if you've gotten to this part, but there's a lot of language in Project 2025 about able-bodied people and that they should get benefits. Now, I don't know what they mean by able-bodied or who's going to make that determination. Yeah. There's also a whole lot of language in there. And again, I haven't read the whole thing about nuclear families. They don't use that term, but about homes with moms and dads, traditional families. And that basically they're going to elevate those people and give them more perks. And then the people that are in single, parent homes or fatherless homes will be dinged in some way. Yeah, it is in there. Hello. But yeah, so it's really super, super scary that some of these people cannot see how it's going to affect them. But you know what? As I said earlier, I didn't say this, but I don't think that people like us should be focusing on those folks. The people that are like hardcore Trumpers, you're probably not going to change their mind. Even if you sit there.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. But I do think
when you say if live or die was a person, bro, I have never in my life seen folks, regardless of what race, size, sex, dedicated. I mean,
yeah, I am Christian, and I don't. There's always talk about him being the Antichrist. I'm telling you, it all freaking lines up. But okay. I hope he's.
Man, I've said that several times. I've said it several times over.
I really don't want it to be the rapture and the world to come to an end yet, but
yeah, he get in there. We on our way to third world.
I'm out. I'm moving somewhere. Bye, y'all.
I did look that up. It does say about America. If you're illegal, but your child is born here, your child is illegal. I'm looking at other countries, and I'm not. England said that you either have to be a citizen or something else in order for the child to be.
One of your parents has to be a citizen usually, or both.
Yeah.
And again, I think that rule was like put into place years and years and years ago because we were trying to build the population in the country. But then, I mean, because I understand why they do it, but there are, pregnant women who literally will come over the border to have their baby here because they know their baby will be an American citizen. And I don't blame them because they think they're going to be so much better here. I don't know if that's going to be the truth going forward, but
that's that false promotion that we show everywhere.
And so I don't, I'm not going to point a finger and say you're bad, but it's just, I get that, but I guess the thing where I do sort of draw my line is that it bothers me. America can't be everything to everyone anymore. We never should have tried to be everything to everyone. And we can't take care of our own people, our own veterans, our own homeless, our own people in our country that are American citizens. And, but yet we try to be everything to everyone. And sometimes you just have to say, we're going to have to cut back on this so we can help our own people.
We definitely stretched thin. We're pretty much picking up. This is just my opinion. We're picking up where that era of Roman conquerors left off with sending people over to other. Because my wife made a great point. Why do we have an embassy, American embassy, in every country, but the country, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think the countries have an embassy over here, do we?
They may in DC. Some of them do. You can look that up too. I get, I recently got into a huge knockdown drag out with somebody on Facebook, and I had to block them, and then, because they wouldn't let it go, because I said something about America's not the best country in the world. And, this is another thing that's like one of my personal beliefs is everyone, when they graduate from high school, should have like a gap year like they do in other countries, and they should like have to travel the world. Because if you out of this country and you see other countries, and I'm not talking like just European rich, nice countries, but like you need to go to some third world countries. And people are like, oh, that shows you how good we have it. Yes and no. I went to Tanzania for 2 weeks in 2021. And everybody before I went was like, you're going to be so shocked. You're going to be so shocked. I didn't. It's so worse than the freaking mountain towns that are north of me in Georgia. But you know what? Those people were freaking happy. They didn't have social media. They didn't know what was, all the crap that was going on in the world. They were very family oriented. They're like all the things we say we won't hear. And they, and they live simple lives. And I'm like, I'm signing up. I'm coming. Give me a house. I'm here.
So they do have one. I just did one. China does have an embassy in DC. So more likely everything is in DC, which that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. I never really thought about that, but
I think I don't know, but I assume the reason for embassies is because if somebody's traveling and they get in that country and there's an issue, they sort of come out. Yeah. So can I share the screen? Because I want to show this video.
Yeah. Do you see the? You should be able to see what's the.
And then share screen. Okay.
Yes. And for you guys on TikTok, we would describe what we're doing. But if you again want to see exactly what she's showing, feel free, even after the live, go over to Uncanny Takeover on YouTube, and you'll be able to see what she's sharing.
So this video I'm about to show is on YouTube. It was created by the Lincoln Project, which if you don't know what the Lincoln Project is, it is a advocacy group that basically is left-leaning. I don't know how you want to say that, but you can, I wish I had a better description of them, but this is about Donald Trump's plan for America. And it is very sobering. It is 4 minutes, so it's a little long, but I would encourage you to go to YouTube, and you'll see there's a link down here where you can share this video. So you can go to YouTube. It's called Aftermath by the Lincoln Project, and get the link and share it with your friends, your family, on your social media, because you're going to see. So I'm going to play it now.
Okay.
November 5th, 2024. Donald Trump defeats a divided and dispirited Democratic campaign. On January 20th, 2025, Donald Trump is sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. Unfortunately, he keeps his promises. Trump seizes control of a divided government, signing hundreds of executive orders implementing Project 2025. Trump replaces over 50,000 civil servants with hardline MAGA loyalists. The federal oath of office now requires declaring loyalty to the president, not the Constitution. Protected by the Supreme Court's grant of total immunity for official acts, Donald Trump orders the Department of Justice to arrest members of the January 6th Commission, current and former DOJ employees, and political opponents for treason, election interference, and conspiracy. He declares it to be an official act. Trump ends birthright citizenship by executive order and turns millions of American-born citizens into illegal aliens overnight. Mass deportations begin. Hundreds of thousands, including legal U.S. residents and American citizens, are imprisoned in newly built camps. Protests erupt. Trump addresses the nation from the Oval Office, invoking the Insurrection Act and declaring the protesters a danger to American sovereignty. He orders the National Guard to use deadly force to suppress the protests. In the wake of the bloody violence, Trump declares nationwide martial law, awarding himself new powers under the freshly signed American Sovereignty Protection Order, which defines protest of immigration policies as non-protected speech and a threat to national security. Governors in New York, California, Illinois, and elsewhere declare their opposition, promising to refuse compliance in their states. Trump orders their arrests. Trump pardons every January 6th attacker, including those who assaulted the police, and in a White House ceremony issues a new presidential medal honoring them. Many are given jobs in his administration. The Department of Education is renamed the Department of American Values and mandates a nationwide Christian nationalist curriculum for all schools receiving federal aid. Trump, joined by Speaker Mike Johnson and evangelical leaders, announces that the Department of Health and Human Services has reclassified mifepristone, making it illegal to distribute or prescribe, as well as new HHS regulations that make IVF treatments impossible to legally administer. Trump reverses one campaign promise by declaring a national abortion ban by executive order. Challenges to his authority are rejected by the Supreme Court, which has seen new appointments from Trump after it was expanded to 12 justices. He signs an executive order removing abortion records from HIPAA privacy regulations and announces a new federal data sharing program so states can monitor women's periods. Thousands are detained while crossing state lines under suspicion of seeking an abortion. Trump's acting Secretary of Defense, a disgraced ex-general, fires over 400 generals and admirals, leaving the military leaderless. Other Trump appointees purge the ranks of the CIA, FBI, and Department of Justice. By executive order, Trump withdraws the United States from NATO and ends Pentagon cooperation with Ukraine. Russian tanks enter Kyiv. Vladimir Zelensky is killed. It is announced that Trump will run for a third term, claiming he was unfairly cheated in the 2020 election. His Supreme Court ultimately agrees with this interpretation, paving the way for Trump's 2028 re-election. If you hear all this and believe it isn't possible, then ask yourself, what did you believe was impossible just 8 years ago? This isn't a fantasy. It's Trump's plan, and he's counting on you to believe it couldn't happen.
Now we all need a drink, right?
One day. Oh, they did it go. Okay, I was hoping that they didn't do that a couple years ago. I was going to be real sad.
No, this like literally they just did this 4 days ago. So I mean, it's just out.
If you look at the agenda and the project, it pretty much.
I mean, there's some points there that may be a little dramatic, but that, and I wish the music wasn't so dramatic, but y'all, that's what's
the music had to be dramatic because it's, it's like, come on.
And again,
that was like on point.
As I was saying earlier, they said in that video, don't think this won't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if people don't get out there and vote, and we don't, you know, and I still worry that if he loses, they're going to do something. But I mean, the camps, they've already talked about the camps and mass deportation. He's talked about that. January 6th, he's already said multiple times for years that he's going to pardon them. The National Guard, he's already said that when the riots were going on, you know, about other things like Palestine and, you know, George Floyd. We're going to get rid of them. We're going to have that broken up. The Christian curriculum, that's already happening in some states, you know, where they're saying they have to teach the Bible in school. So, I mean, these are things that are already happening. They'll just be national.
Yeah.
And so you can sit here and say, you know, this isn't going to happen or whatever. But, you know, when it's your friend who gets hauled off to a deportation camp, when it, you know, your neighbor, your coworker, when it's your wife who's detained at the border of the state because she's pregnant, she's trying to cross state lines, they think she's going to have an abortion, you know, it will affect you. It will affect you. It may not affect you directly, but it's going to affect all of us in some way, either us directly or someone we love.
So what did you, you was telling me that you came up with a group, right?
Yes. So I started a Facebook group I'll see if I can get it and I'll show it to y'all. It is called Liberty Rising, and I did it just as a way to share information about how to get involved. And the reason why is because I think a lot of people are very frustrated about, here, I'll do my screen again, are very frustrated about what's going on, but they don't know what to do. They don't know, how to, here we go. That's what it looks like. So it's called Liberty Rising, and the Facebook thing, you can't find it because it's a private group. So if you go to my TikTok link tree, it should be linked at the top, but it's facebook.com/groups/Liberty Leader, because Liberty Rising was taken, so it's Liberty Leader. And there are questions that you have to answer to get into the group.
Again?
Huh?
What'd you say it was? / what now?
It's facebook.com/groups with an S, GROUPS /Liberty Leader, singular, LIBERTYLEADER. So a lot of people that are already in there's like 30 people, 30-something people. Those are a lot of my friends on Facebook, my sister's friends. But it just started this week. But again, I'm going to be hopefully sharing things to get involved in this group. Ways you can, help things take a different course, or hopefully turn out in a very positive way for the country. But yeah. And so, and two other, while I'm here, two other resources I want to mention. Hold on, I'm sorry. Is this lady, her name is Jessica Craven, and she actually has a, oh goodness, I can't find her. Here we go. This is an older email, but her she's on Facebook. She's on TikTok. Her name is Jessica Craven, and I believe that is her TikTok handle. And her platform is called Chop Wood, Carry Water. And the reason she says that is because her grandfather always had this term or thing that he said that when things get really tough, you can always do the basics. You can always chop wood and carry water. So she has an incredible newsletter that she sends out several times a week. And she puts in there like what you can do, like call your senators. She gives you scripts. She gives you numbers. She puts in here all the links you need. So she makes it super easy to get involved and to do stuff. So, and this is my thing, is everybody can do something, whether it is calling your senator, whether it is talking to your neighbors, whether it's writing postcards, getting on the phone and calling people in swing states, canvassing, taking people to the polls. And again, y'all, I know this is not easy. I know it's not easy to go to your, next door neighbor or friend at work and say, are you voting this year? Well, do you know about Project 2025? If you don't, maybe can I tell you about it? But right. Do you want to wake up again like that video said on November 5th and wish you'd done that? Because it'll be too late then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
I'm the kind of person too that if I feel like, as I was saying earlier, a lot of people feel like they can't make a difference. They don't have any, control. I may not have any control over the long-term situation, but I can do something. And doing something makes me feel better. And in the 2022 election, I had started following Jessica, and I wound up writing like 200 postcards to young voters in Pennsylvania, which is a swing state. I called folks, did a called some folks that were in swing states. I went and monitored the polls in Georgia. And it was, and it was very new for me, but it made me feel so much better to know that I was contributing to something, and so
I think it's the biggest thing, it's almost like I was telling you about the black men and racists not leaving until older black folks go to the upper room. It's not until you witness, partake, or have a part into something is when you see how big it is. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing, people are at home complaining or saying something's not fair, but then we're not doing anything to make that change. Regardless if they want to vote Trump, liberal, or Joe, whatever, it's still, if you're not participating, it's like, what's your complaint?
Yeah.
You know? And it took me a minute, a few years ago to realize that I can't be sitting in my soapbox saying, man, I don't even know why he on there and I ain't vote.
Yeah, me too.
You
I mean,
know?
I could probably start voting. I might have voted for the first time Obama got elected.
Really?
I mean, in my life. I mean, I was one of those people that didn't. I was like, oh, I'm not going to vote. I don't really want to stand in line. I mean, we're Americans in general are sort of lazy and apathetic.
I was going to say, we're spoiled. We are told that we are the greatest and there's no other country better than us, and pretty much that we can just sit on our butt and things that happen the way that we want to happen. And for true enough, for a group of people, yeah, that it kind of works out for them that way, but it's not like that with most folks. And most folks are the ones that are not moving on. And I think this this election is going to prove what it means to work together, because you just said it a few moments ago. Them Trump followers, they are a blueprint of standing fast on what they believe in, regardless. And it's like we talk about on whatever side going against him and whatnot. We're too busy fighting. And
yes. Oh my God. I'm so pissed off I've been pissed off at the Democrats for years about this. They cannot get their shit together.
They can't get it together.
I mean, they can't get it together. And basically ever since Obama's out of office, which I think also just like triggered all this into hard drive, because the white people were like white people and before then. But then once we got a black president, they were like, what?
And I'm gonna even take it even further, that because someone said, what about the vice president? Let Joe step down and let her pick up. And I'm like, bruh,
she's never gonna win. And don't come at me. Don't come at me. But,
no,
I know. I mean, what's the lowest demographic on the totem pole in this country? Black women.
One thing, she's a woman, and oh my goodness,
melanated. She's a melanated.
Yeah. Oh my God. She get up in there. Woo.
And people already don't like her because she's associated with Biden, and she does have she's not the most eloquent speaker. And but I said way back when Biden said he was going to run again, I was like, he does not need to do that. He was the person that we needed about 4 years ago. We needed an old white man to be up against an old white man, period. We do not need that person now. This year we need a younger, I love Gavin Newsom. I hate to say that in California. I think he's good looking, which I hate to say it, but it plays into this. It does. I'm sorry. John F. Kennedy Jr. That's all I'm going to say. He's, but he looks the part. He speaks incredibly well. He has no problem going balls to ball with the Republicans. He will call them on their shit all day long. I mean, I think that he's a great representation, but that is why Obama did so well. He was new. He was fresh. He was different. And that should be what Democrats are striving for, is to get new, fresh blood in there, younger blood. And I think Joe Biden even said that at one point, like he wanted to pave the way for younger leadership to come in. But y'all, we still ain't ready for somebody melanated to be in that office again. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want it to happen. It's not that I'm trying to be racist, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
AKA, what they say, it's going to be a cold day in hell.
Stacey Abrams. That's all I'm going to say. I live in Georgia. So, yeah.
That would be nice.
No. I mean, she didn't win.
No, but I'm saying but that's what I'm talking about. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
But again, it just proves your point that it's like, outside of getting up and voting, what else can we do? I know you stated that, helping out with, which it, like you also stated, it may be kind of hard or difficult or maybe even cringe, like, going to knock on somebody's door and saying, hey, I know you don't know me, but I was wondering if you voted, or are you going to vote, or if you need access to go and vote, because, I can take you,
And I think that is key. I mean, everybody can do something. So if you're an introvert, fine. You make donations if you have money to campaigns, not necessarily the national campaign, but even local campaigns. Write postcards. I mean, writing postcards is incredibly powerful. You do used to have to pay for the stamps, I will say that, but they give you the postcards for free. And they'll tell you exactly what to say. Just write them and mail them, or letters. You can do letters and sign them. I mean, you can do that. It doesn't require you to speak to anyone. Yeah. If you don't mind talking to people, you can man phone banks. You can call people directly. One of the things that I had a friend do is she had a bunch of friends come over to her house, and they had like a call party. And so they, got pizza and wine, maybe not wine, but while you're on the phone or afterwards. And they all took a list and went in different rooms and called people. And somehow them all being there together made it feel a little better. But these people do scripts. They're not going to send you out there on your own just to come up with shit to talk to people about.
Yeah.
You can go door to door and canvass, and usually, again, you do that in groups because they want you to be safe. So they'll send you out with groups of people. And just talking to people around you and coming from a place of kindness and compassion, not coming from, and saying, like I said earlier, just saying, hey, you plan on voting in the election? And if they say, no, I don't think so, say, oh, really? Why? Well, I don't think my vote's going to make a difference. Well, I think it will make a difference. And if you know a little bit about Project 2025, which is why I want us to continue these, if we can, to try to figure out what's going to affect that person. I hate to say that, but it's true. Like if it's a woman with, 2 young daughters, well,
right.
about the whole, abortion thing, or if it's a woman who's having trouble with fertility issues, well, about the whole IVF thing. And so to give them information and encourage them to also go look. But I'll give a case in point. I'll tell a story. So 2 years ago in 2022, I had a young white woman that cleaned my house, and she was here one day working, cleaning. And I asked her about the election, and I said, it was, I think, October. And I said, are you planning on voting? And she's like, oh, no, I don't know anything about politics, Now, she was partnered with a black man. They were not married, still is partnered with a black man. They had 2 young biracial children, 4 and 6. So I'm painting the picture here, So she was in school. She worked a full-time job. And this was her part-time job. Her husband worked a job, a nighttime job, coordinating shop. They were busy. They were hustling. They had kids, all the things. And I said, well, are you registered to vote? She goes, I think I am. She wasn't even sure she was registered to vote. Just even asked people if they're registered, to go do that. And I said, well, and so I started telling her about the abortion thing, because it had just happened that summer, right? The Roe v. Wade. And she's like, and she was flabbergasted. She knew nothing about it. It's shocking to think that, but she knew nothing about it. Nothing. Yeah. I mean, she didn't watch the news. She didn't have time to watch the news. She's working or taking care of her kids, right? And so she was like, oh my God, I don't want my daughter to have that, to not have that taken away from them. She's like, I'm going to vote. And she got all excited, and she left her super excited. After the election, I said, did you go vote? She said, no, I forgot. And that day I had a double shift. What, right? And she had good intentions.
Yeah. In
hindsight, what I should have said was, when I was going to early vote, I'll come pick you up.
I'll take you
with me. Yeah. And you can bring your kids if you need to, and I'll watch them while you're voting. And, you can be with them while I'm voting, and whatever we need to do to get you to the polls. But it may mean physically taking someone to the polls to vote, and not even necessarily telling them how to vote. That's not necessarily your place, but, but yeah, I think that we're going to have to do some.
Part of me wants to believe that, our everyday work life has become more of a distraction for stuff like that than anything on purposely. Because I knew for a moment, it used to be a time where jobs used to allow you
to
go vote. I really don't hear that anymore.
But there is early voting, and people that work shift jobs, they're off during the day. People that work, are nurses, they have a day off during the week. And they're also, I don't know about other states, but I know in Georgia, they have at least 1, if not 2 Saturdays where you can go early vote during early voting. So
Okay.
I hate to say there's not really an excuse, but there's not really an excuse.
Hey,
and you know, and again, I used to be the same way. So I'm not, I know I'm talking about the other side of my mouth, but I just, it's important, y'all. It has to be important this year. And I'm just going to say this too, unpopular opinion. It is not a fucking enough to post little memes on your Facebook page or to share shit on TikTok. That is not enough. Because more than likely the people that follow you or already probably feel that way, and the algorithm may or may not show it to people. You're gonna have to get out and do some work. You got to do some work. You got to write some postcards. You got to talk to some people. You got to take people to the polls. You got to do some work. Being out there, that is not work. Sharing little memes on TikTok, not work. Sharing little memes on Facebook, not work.
Yeah, and, I understand that now more than anything. Definitely, even I think I know I have throw myself up under the bus. I have not voted appropriately when it comes to the in between stages of voting. You know, like for folks, mayor and governor and all that stuff. I haven't really been on top of that like I should be. And like you stated, I don't watch the news. I have to come across something on TikTok or Facebook. Oh crap, let me go, let me go look, look. And it's not even because I don't want to watch the news per se. It's just like TV in general has become so hell, social media has become a toxicity now since they realize people don't watch TV no more. Because TV for a minute was like all these reality shows, folks slapping people and getting drunk, and it's like, hey, like nothing educational is on TV anymore. Yeah, I had to say it like that. But so it's a lot that we can do, guys. Other than complaining, and I've never really been the one to complain, but because if I'm not doing anything, I have no right to sit and say, dang man, that's wrong, they shouldn't be up there.
What's the old saying? If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
You're part of the problem. Yeah, exactly. And so I've always known that. So but since I've been voting, yeah, I'm on my soapbox and pissed, trying to figure out what what.
And when my viral video went viral on TikTok, of course I had no intent for it to do that, and it certainly brought me a big following, not huge, but and then I felt this levity on me to like continue that, and I shouldn't have felt that way because it's sort of anyway. But I'm not doing this Liberty Rising thing. I'm not doing this shit with you because I want to be I could care less about being on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
I could care less. But if I can, affect 20 people to get involved, if somebody else is doing what I'm doing and they can do 20 people and they can do 20 people, like the old commercial about the hair, it compounds. I mean, just think if like everybody, could get one of those missing middle people, as I keep calling them, to go vote this year. Like what a difference that can make. I mean, that, those are the kind of things that can make a huge difference and just, and really, set this on a different trajectory, because I truly believe in my heart of hearts, know that there are more people out there who do not want Trump and that kind of stuff in office.
Yes.
But they are not, for whatever reason, voting or doing anything to make it not be there, not be that way. And so, yeah, and it's and that's the people we need to reach and educate and tell, because they're going to be, I think they're going to be the ones that are going to make the difference. Sort of like the kids were, the young adults were, 4 years ago.
So I would say, and guys, this live was pretty much like an introduction of it wasn't a deep dive into what we wanted to speak on. We just wanted to touch bases on the reason why we're wanting to jump into the series. Definitely talk and share what the agenda and what the project consists of, for anyone that's listening that doesn't know anything about it. Trust me. The project 2025 is kind of like a contract. And normally when you see a contract with all those words, You just sign your name and then you're going on about your business, not knowing what you're signing up for. So it's one of those contracts that you really need to read. And for those that sit, and I know I get a lot of slack off for people saying, well, you ain't saying nothing about Biden. And Biden has said some racial things in the past. I haven't come across anything where he's like said it publicly now here recently. I ain't saying that he don't do it behind closed doors, but you have a man that's like opening every time he opened his mouth, is BS coming out of it. And it's just the weirdest thing how people just,
you can't cling to any one thing. If you like everything about any particular party, political party, you probably are not informed. I mean, like I said earlier, there are lots of things I don't like that the Democrats do.
Yeah.
But I also look at how will the policies that they promote and the policies that the other side promote, how do those affect my
it's
life?
like weighing options.
I don't give a shit who's trans or gay or what they're doing or wants to have an abortion. That doesn't affect me. I don't care. I mind my business. I'm staying in my lane. How is it going to affect me personally? And and then I vote accordingly.
Yeah, that's their body. It's just like your body is yours, and you're practically wanting to do whatever the heck that you want to do with it.
I mean, that may, whether or not I believe in that or it's against my religious beliefs, that's your business. And so I don't, it's not my place to impose my beliefs onto you. So that's between you and your whoever you worship or whatever, or don't worship. But, it's just, and so that's the way I look at it. But people just don't, yeah. And people still see Trump as an outsider. That a lot of these people do. They still see him as fresh and different. That he's not the old, he's not part of the embedded, stuff, even though we all know he is, but now especially. But yeah, they don't see that. And I really hope the Democrats get their shit together about this whole Biden thing. I don't think Biden should have won. I don't really know if he should stand at this point. I sort of think he should on one hand, but now they're saying that people are going to withhold money from him. That just came out right before we got on this thing that some large PACs are going to, there's like $90 million worth of money on the table if he doesn't leave the race. But I don't think Kamala Harris needs to be his replacement, as we talked about, for the reasons we talked about.
Yeah.
And so I don't know who then is going to be the replacement. So it's going to be, but regardless, there's going to be somebody that's going to run on that side. And we need to get behind them, because going back to your comment earlier, the thing that conservatives / Republicans / MAGA, whatever the heck you want to call them, do well is even if they don't like the person, they get behind them. They get behind them.
Hard.
Hard. Like they go all in. There is no dissension among the ranks, or at least it's not put out publicly. And I mean, even when Trump was first elected, there was lots of people who, the old school conservatives that were like, ugh. But somebody got their ass in line, because they stopped that real quick, because they would rather have the power. They understand that they'd rather have the power.
Yeah. Because
the president, y'all, is just a fucking figurehead. Let's admit it. They don't really do anything. They're a figurehead for the party.
That's it. It is a puppet. It's something about a face. That's pretty much it.
I mean, they just steer the ship, right? They're the captain of the ship. And they may have their own some things on their own agenda, but basically it's a party platform. Yeah. So you can't really poke a finger too hard at presidents about anything. And 4 years is no time to get anything done, by the way. But it's just, so that's the one thing they do. And here we are, less than 4 months before the election, bitching about the candidate for the liberal Democratic blue side, whatever, and like whether he's fit to hold office. And I'm like, why the hell were we having this conversation 6 months ago or 8 months ago? Yeah, no, why?
Right. And you already knew this. You really knew this already.
Yeah, I'm like, good Lord, y'all, this does not look good.
Do you think that was a setup?
No. I think, I don't know what the hell Democrats think. I honestly don't. Because
I really think they threw Joe up under the bus, man, at this point.
I even get mad at, got really mad at Obama in his second term, because they were so, disliking him. And I know Michelle Obama was like, oh, they go low, we go high. Fuck going high. He should have got Ghetto on their ass. I'm sorry. He should have. If they wanted to see a black man, let them see a black man. I'm just saying, like, let them see it, because and there is a time and place, yes, to absolutely be, but sometimes you got to call people on their shit. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that some of these younger people like Jasmine Crockett and
Oh, yes.
AOC and some of those folks are calling these folks out. But
Yeah.
they, sometimes you have to fight fire with fire, and that fire over there is burning really bright and hot. And we're just, and the people over here just like, who's gonna be president?
Yeah.
Get it together, people.
And that makes it look even worse. And like, who wants to vote for somebody that is not capable of standing on anything? And that's what they're looking like right now.
Yeah, and I understand. There's some people that's like, I will vote for a piece of wood or whatever over Trump, and I get that. But at the same time, we shouldn't have those choices. Why do we have to make the choices we make? That's the thing too. That's just a general observation about politics in general. But the Democrats just aren't. They haven't been thoughtful about this stuff. I don't think politicians in general are thoughtful about this stuff, because you know why? Because they know we don't care or haven't cared, and so they don't get their shit together. But yeah, I won't even talk about that. That's a whole nother 50-year podcast of more political parties and all that stuff.
So we did speak a little off camera message wise that we may look into doing a little evening, making it evening live. Someone did say something, Mr.
She said, I can call people in other states, but I need the right talking points. What matters to people there? I will hook y'all up. I'm going to continue to put stuff on my group on Facebook.
Yes, please follow Ms. Julie.
Yeah, and mention it on which you have to have a Facebook thing, and then mention it on TikTok too.
I just tried to hit that on your link tree, and it wouldn't let me do it.
Oh, you know what? I think that it only was good for so long. I don't know why they do that. It's very complicated. I need to figure that out. But I need to I don't know what I need to do.
I know sometimes you might have to be friends with a certain person that it sends out you can invite as well. I know when I got my MS group for my multiple sclerosis, it's private, and I have to purposely send out an invitation to a person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you become private, like you say, because you can't find it.
Well, maybe I need to make it unprivate, and then that'll solve the problem, but still screen folks, because I do want to I don't want trolls to come in there.
Yeah.
But block and ban. I have other measures. I'll make it public but screen, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I would do that until you get to a certain point, and then if you click it over to private, then and unprivate it for make a window for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
my Facebook name, I'm not going to tell you what my Facebook name is. DM Power Scorpion. And I hate to say this, but it's probably going to come to a point where I have to meld my lives, but I've tried to keep that part of my life and my TikTok life very separate.
I would do it.
Huh? I know, but part of it is because people can get very hateful, and
I was just going to say I wouldn't do it because people, yeah.
And so I just, I get very concerned. I'm a little concerned for my safety sometimes, and I just, I don't want to give people any fuel for fire.
You should.
Yeah.
So me and Ms. Julie will sit down and figure out how we would want to go by and what time next Friday, and it's going to be a little bit more structured. Again, it was just a little introduction, and letting you guys know that, hey, this is what we want to do, to sit and provide as much information as possible on how to vote, or to share your thoughts and our thoughts on voting or whatnot. And again, this is nothing pertaining to pushing any hate factors toward any party. Like she stated, I'm pretty sure regardless of who you are, it's something that you may find that you may like on Trump's side, and definitely dislike on Biden, or whatever the case may be. But I just know that my personal opinion, I don't really think you want what's coming if the Republican Party gets hold of it. It ain't just got to do with Trump, just the Republican Party in general. So if you really don't like it, you got to do something about it.
Yep.
So
for action, folks. I mean, it really, truly is. We have to get off our asses and stop being apathetic. And again, me too. Like, I just started getting involved 2 years ago, but we will give, I'm very conscious of giving Flower Scorpion, yes, links. Again, I just want to mention my page, which I'll try to fix my link in TikTok right now. I'm hooked up to my phone, so I'll have to do it after we get off this this live / YouTube / podcast. And then also Jessica Craven. I want to mention her again. I keep mentioning her. Chop wood, carry water. The other person I want to mention is Joy Reid. With MSNBC. She's incredible, and she has done a lot of great videos. And they actually are going to be doing a same thing that we're doing, but like on MSNBC. But they're going to be doing a from now until the election, talking about Project 2025, some aspect of it every night.
Okay.
Her show. Is it called The Readout? I think it's called The Readout.
Okay.
Yeah. But she's awesome, and go follow her. But, as I find people, and likewise, if anyone out there has resources, please share them back with me or us. And, we'll share them out with everyone, because this is a group effort. This is a group project. We all are involved.
Yeah, man. If you, and as you can tell, we're not sitting up here promoting any myths. So if you would like to be part of the panel and just share anything, just hit me up. And we sit down and talk about it, and I can pass out a link for you so that you can come up. But we're not doing this to sit and point fingers, because both of us have different opinions on stuff. So we can do this like respectfully, and I would say at least give us to about Tuesday on what time Friday we're gonna pull back up in the spot for you guys and share some more information. Okay.
This will, like you said, this is just a way to share information, to share resources,
right,
to help educate people and empower people to say that you do have power and you can exercise it. And here's how you can do that.
Yep. So with that being said, TikToky people, we totally appreciate you guys coming up and next Friday. And if anything changed, me and Miss Julia definitely come up and say something's changed, okay?
Yep, and we'll share the link out later.
All right, and Facebook is the same thing as well. Oh, and YouTube, we totally appreciate it. Feel free to subscribe, follow, and definitely go and look at that aftermath thing, or rewind this and look at it, because and so until next time, guys, we totally appreciate it.
Have a good one. Bye.